So, if you're watching this video, you are curious as to know and to find out what it's like to go from fat to lean or to skinny, whatever you want to call it, right? And I'm going to tell you exactly how that feels, because I personally went through that shit. Something random just hit my windshield. But okay, we're going to continue. I'm going to tell you exactly how that shit was, right? So first I'm going to start off with how it was being fat. Being fat, the first thing I noticed was I was very comfortable. And I know you don't notice it, but once you get lean, you will understand the comfortability that you were in prior than where you are now, right? That's like one of the biggest differences that I noticed, was being comfortable. When I was heavy, I was sitting down at my banking job, letting the days go by, passing time, wasn't doing a shit, wasn't going to the gym. I had a sedentary job, and even now my job is sedentary. I'm still sitting down, but the mind shift change, and from me being uncomfortable is what got me lean, right? So with that being said, because I got lean, I noticed a huge difference in comfortability, right? At my old job, right? A lot of people would come in, they'll bring food, right? They'll do all this nice shit. And of course I would eat that shit up. But it made the small tasks throughout the day even more difficult because I was so comfortable in my seat and where I was at. So at my job, like my boss would tell me, oh, go to the printer and get some papers for me, please. Or, oh, can you just do this for me real quick? And it was such a small task. Like, I'm looking at that now and I'm like, bro, that's nothing. Like, that's absolutely nothing, bro. Why do I see it as nothing? Because I made myself purposely uncomfortable so that I could get comfortable with the uncomfortable so that I could be comfortable. And I hope that makes sense. But, you know, I feel like if you ever become fat and then lean again, you would understand 100% exactly what I'm talking about. So that's the first thing I noticed was comfortability. And you don't notice this, by the way. I didn't know I was comfortable. When you're fat, you don't notice shit because you're so brain fogged in all the food that you're eating and all the shit, which is the second point that I'm going to bring up, right? The second thing that I noticed about being fat and then going lean is the brain fog and the amount of shit that is consuming your mind, right? And I know that sounds very cliche because they're, you know, everybody on social media is like, oh, they'll control your mind or what. Bro, I'm telling you right now, if you start eating clean, like clean food, and you know exactly what you're implementing and like eating in your mouth, bro, that shit will change your whole mindset. It is so crazy what just a week of eating clean will do to your fucking mind. Not even your body, your mind, bro. Which is one of the biggest things because your mind is what controls everything else. Your mind is what gets you up to go to the gym. Your mind is what bro, the moment I started eating clean, the first thing I noticed was I was waking up less drowsy and less groggy. Because I would wake up, I would lay down in bed saying, oh, fuck this shit. I hate my job. Oh my God, why do I have to go to work? Oh, what the hell am I going to do today? I woke up like that every single fucking day, bro. Every day, whenever I had my job, I would go to work every single day like that. But then, even when I was working at my job, all I did was change my meals, ate clean, and the moment I started eating clean, I instantly started getting energy. As soon as I woke up, I got a boost of energy. I'm like, oh shit. All right, bet. Boom. And I just got energy, and I was just going throughout my day. You know, didn't think of anything bad either. Felt super energized. Doing a whole bunch of stuff, and dude, even at work, my mind was sharper. Like doing tasks, everything was so much sharper. Like, you know, like my boss would tell me, oh, make sure we do this and do this and do this and do this. And the moment he already listed 4 things, my mind is already gone. I'm like, yeah, fuck this shit, right? But I noticed that when I was eating clean, that I was a lot sharper with the decisions that I was making. They were a lot cleaner. They were a lot precise thinking, and like everything was just done so smoothly. Why? Because I had a sharper mind. Because all that bullshit I was eating was not there anymore, right? So, brain fog, that's the second thing I noticed, right? Now, the third thing that I noticed from going fat to lean is people. Other people noticing, bro. Obviously, it's your physique. You're going to change. You're going to look better. You're going to look a lot leaner. So, other people are going to notice it, right? So, they'll start telling you, damn, bro, like you look, you know, you're looking really nice, especially people that you haven't seen in a long time. And be like, damn, like you're actually looking like lean, bro, or like, oh, you've been working out, or yo, you know. So it starts off like that. And with that being said, because people start noticing, that will go into my fourth point, which is boosting your confidence, right? Which is so fucking important, bro. Boosting your fucking confidence. If you're fat and you think you're hot shit, I promise you are not, because I thought I was okay. When I was fat and I looked at my mentor in the face and I told him, yo, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Mind you, this guy has a whole six-pack. He's super lean, super ripped. I'm this fat piece of shit telling him, yo, I actually look good. What are you talking about? That's how fucked my brain was, bro. I was so fat out of my mind that I didn't realize how much fat I had on my body until I actually lost all the weight. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm fucking stupid. Like, how bad do I have to be? And how down bad, like how messed up in my mind was I to really think that I look just as good as a guy that's super ripped with his shirt off? I literally told him, I just need a little bit of toning or like a little bit of like touch-ups and I'm good. Come to find out, I had to drop 70 pounds. It's like, bro, you know what I'm saying? So like, that shit is actually like crazy, right? So that's the fourth thing, was confidence, right? And then obviously, the last thing that I'm gonna say that is just a personal thing for me was the daily life things, the differences, dude. Oh my gosh, right? So these are, I think, two or three of these are one of the main things, right? Is like, even throughout my life, the first thing I noticed was my stomach, TMI by the way, right? But, you know, hopefully not TMI. Whenever I'm in the bathroom, right? Whenever I'm taking, you know, a Duke, a number 2, right? And I'm sitting on the toilet seat, I noticed that my stomach would not hang and touch my thigh. Can you believe that shit? And that might sound crazy because the people, whoever's watching this and you're not fat and you've never been fat, you wouldn't know this. But like, I have stretch marks still on my love handles, and I have stretch marks on my stomach, right? And bro, from going from fat to skinny, feeling the stomach not hit your thigh, like while you're going to the bathroom, is a crazy feeling, bro. Because I'm like, whoa, like, because I felt something like tickle my leg. I'm like, what? Why is something tickle? And I looked down, I was like, oh my God, wait, that's like the stomach is like lightly like touching like my leg. And I was like, wait, before, I remember I used to completely have my whole stomach on my legs. So that's the first, like, that's one of the daily things that I noticed was when I was sitting on the toilet, my stomach would not touch my leg. And that shit blew my mind, right? Another thing too, whenever I would take a shower and I would wash my armpits, right? The lump of man tit that I had was insane compared to now, because now I just feel it like muscle. Like, I just feel straight muscle. I feel like every striation. As before, it was just a flop of fat. And I would, and it's funny because I would actually hold it like if it was like a freaking football almost. Like, whenever I would go like this, it would feel like a football, right? But now it just feels like a wooden peg almost, right? It feels like a wooden peg, because it's just like so hard and it's like muscular, and like you would feel like the little like move like things on it. Yeah, it just felt like a wooden peg, bro. I was like, what the hell? So that's another thing that I noticed, right? And the last thing that I noticed too out of my daily life was the routine that I built, right? So you have to build, in order to have this type of mindset, in order to keep pushing forward, you have to have a routine, which goes back to being uncomfortable, right? So if you're watching this video, right, this might not be to you, right? But a lot of people can agree with me on this sense where nobody likes to wake up and as soon as they wake up, they go to the gym. Nobody likes that shit. I can guarantee you, nobody would want to wake up and just start pushing themselves and killing themselves at the gym. Nobody would agree with me on that. And you know what? I can say this right now. I completely don't want to do that shit. I hate that shit. I hate working out early in the morning, but I do it. Why do I do it? Because I hate it. That is literally how you master your mind. Whenever your mind tells you to do something and you know it's not good for you or know it's bad for you, bro, you have to counteract it, bro. And with time, your body will adapt to it and possibly even end up liking it depending on the situation, right? So for me, I hated going to the gym in the morning. I hated that shit, but I knew I had to do it because I hated it and I knew that it would teach me discipline. Also, I saw the benefits of waking up early. I'll get shit done quicker, start early in the day. Maybe I could do some chores earlier, maybe get some small tasks done. I saw a good benefit from it. So I was like, why not? And dude, for the first 2 weeks, it was brutal. It was honestly brutal. I would go to sleep at 10, wake up at like 4 or 5 in the morning. Super brutal, super, super brutal. But with time and with consistency, now it's like my morning coffee. I ended up liking it. Now, don't get me wrong, there's other things that I do throughout the day that I still don't like, that I still do. But you need that type of thing to keep pushing you forward, right? And that's how I developed this type of mindset. Yes, having a good body kind of shows what you have on the inside, right? Or what you're eating, right? But at the end of the day, bro, it's all about your mindset and where your mind is at. If your mind is not straight and if your mind is not where it's supposed to be at, your physical appearance will not come into play. What you say will not come out to play, right? And even like thinking stuff throughout the day won't even come out to like play either in your favor, right? So in order to do that, you would have to get uncomfortable, which is setting a routine. Those are the things that I noticed and the differences between being fat and being skinny and being lean. I think there also is one more too. I noticed that, yeah, there is one more thing. So throughout my whole life, I've always had really bad dandruff, right? Always had really bad dandruff, super, super bad. Like flakes everywhere. I had red circles and shit all over. It looked like eczema almost, right? And my barber that he was cutting my hair, he noticed it, and it was getting so bad to the point where I started to like bleed almost, right? Because of how bad it was itching and how dry it was. It was like cracking and shit. So my barber is this, I believe he's Jamaican, right? I'm not trying to racially profile nobody, but he has dreads all the way down to his ankles. He kind of has a little bit of an accent. I would say he's Jamaican, or at least from the Caribbean islands, right? And he was telling me, he's like, yo, like you have really bad, like almost kind of like eczema shit on your head. I was like, oh, it's just really bad dandruff or whatever. He's like, nah, bro, this is serious. So he told me, he's like, you want to know what this is from? I said, what? He said, eating dirty. And this goes back to my second point of eating clean and how it sharpens your mind. It also does everything else too, which I'm going to follow through with that as well. He said, eating dirty like that, or like eating like junk food and all that shit, there's bacteria that always lives on your head, but when you eat junk food and when you eat shit like that, the fungus, like your body is trying to get rid of it, so it gets rid of it through the head. And this is what he's telling me. I don't know if this is true, right? But he said because of that, it's trying to get out of your head from all the sweat and stuff like that from when you work out or whatever the case is, right? And the fungus feeds off of that junk that is releasing from your body. So to kill it is by not eating junk food from the source, like at all, and that will kill it from the jump because it doesn't have that junk food to rely off of, right? So I was like, damn, okay. So I started eating clean, and when I started working out, I started to get leaner. I started to do this, bro. No more fucking dandruff. No more red lines on my head. No more nothing. Completely gone. And I told him about it, and he was like, you see what I told you, right? And like I said, I don't know if that's true or not, but it makes sense to me. But I just thought I would share that because that's something that he told me. Like I said, I don't know if that's true or not, but based off my experience, the moment you start eating clean, if you got dandruff, that shit will go away, right? Another thing that also will go away too is the way how you smell, right? I noticed when I was fat, I would smell whenever I would sweat. Okay. Random peacock just decided to kamikaze this landscaping truck that's in front of me. So, anyways. But yeah, the smell that would come off of me, bro. When I was fat, every single time I would sweat, I would get this stench, bro. It almost kind of smelled like dust. It was like a wet dog dust, like fucking onion smell. It was terrible, bro. It was a fucking it was like a locker room almost, bro. It was a bad smell. But after I started eating clean, now when I sweat, I don't smell. Like I just came back from the gym, right? Just got out the gym. I went grocery shopping a little bit. And, bro, I'm smelling myself. And I literally smell like $1 million. Like, I don't smell, like, it doesn't smell like a wet dog. I would, like, even my piss, bro. And bro, I didn't even put on deodorant. And I'm drenched in fucking sweat right now. So, like, it doesn't smell, like, fucking terrible. It doesn't smell bad at all. Which is super, super shocking. But that's what it's like eating clean, bro. When your body releases the sweat, all that shit. When you eat junk, it releases that bad smell and that bad fucking thing. And you're just like, bro, this shit's nasty. So it's like, but when you eat clean, I noticed it for me that, shit, I don't smell too bad. So that's going to conclude this video. If you do like the differences that I said from being fat to skinny, let me know. And also on my Instagram, you can even see how I even looked when I was fat or skinny, or how I looked like when I was fat versus how I look now, obviously, like lean down and shit, right? So if you're curious as to how I look, definitely go take a look at my Instagram and go check that shit out. I have some photos there posted of me of when I was heavy, when I was fat, and you guys could definitely see like how far I came. I made a post. It's one of my very first posts where I discuss and I talk about how I dropped 70 pounds in like 6 months, technically like 5 months, but like 6 months. And yeah, if you guys are interested in that, you can go take a look at it and let me know. Let me know if you guys like this video. Let me know if you guys want more content like this, bro. And yeah, that's it for me. Peace.